I live in Spokane, Washington. It's a pretty normal place, you know. Quiet neighborhoods, for distinct seasons. The kind of town where you feel safe locking your doors at night and not thinking twice. I live alone in a small 2-bedroom house I bought a couple of years back. It's got its quirks, sure. An old furnace that groans in the winter, and a floorboard in the hallway that creaks no matter how lightly you step on it. But it's mine. One of the first things I did when I moved in was to update the security. New deadbolts, window locks, the works. The front door is solid oak, heavy as can be, and I made sure it had a top-of-the-line lock. What it doesn't have, and has never had since I've lived here, is a door chain. I'm very specific about that. I hate the things. They always get snagged, they scratch the paint, and they give a false sense of security. So, no chain, remember that. It was a Tuesday night, just a few weeks ago. Nothing special about it. I'd worked late, grabbed some takeout on the way home, and spent the evening zoning out in front of the TV. Around midnight I turned everything off and headed to bed. I'm a pretty heavy sleeper, but some noises just cut through anything. At exactly 1:52 a.m., I know the exact time because I saw it on my alarm clock. When I jolted awake I heard it. A distinct metallic rattle. It wasn't the wind or the house settling. It was sharp, deliberate, and it was coming from my front door. My heart immediately started hammering against my ribs. I sat up in bed, straining to listen. Silence. Maybe I'd dreamed it. Spokane is safe, but it's not immune to break-in. I crept out of bed, my feet cold on the hardwood floor, and tiptoed into the hallway. The hallway is dark, with only a sliver of moonlight coming from the living room window. The front door was at the far end, a dark rectangle in the gloom. I held my breath, listening, and then it came again. A metallic rattling sound, like a small chain being shaken against a doorframe. It was impossible. There was no chain. The sound was coming from right at eye level, exactly where a security chain would be. My mind was racing, trying to find a logical explanation. Was it a branch scraping against the door? No, the nearest tree is 20 feet away. Was it something on the porch? I didn't have anything metal out there. The handle wasn't turning. The deadbolt wasn't being tampered with. It was just this sound, this ghostly, impossible rattling. It stopped, and for a long moment, the only thing I could hear was the blood pounding in my ears. I stayed frozen, my hand hovering over the light switch, too scared to turn it on and reveal myself. The rattle came a third time, but this time it was different. It was slower, more methodical, dragged out, like someone was testing my patience, seeing if I would react. It was a taunt. Every instinct was screaming at me to run, to hide, to call 911, but I was paralyzed, utterly captivated by the sheer impossibility of it all. How could I hear a chain that didn't exist? Was I losing my mind? Was this some elaborate, terrifying prank? The air grew colder, and I could feel the fine hairs on my arms stand on end. And then, a new sound joined the rattle. A whisper. It was so faint I thought I was imagining it at first. A dry, sibilant hiss that seemed to slide right through the solid wood of the door. It snaked its way through the crack between the door and the frame. A voice that was barely there but filled with an ancient malice. It said, "You removed it." My blood turned to ice. It was a statement, not a question. The voice knew. It knew I'd taken off the old hardware. It knew there wasn't a chain. The whisper came again, a little louder this time, dripping with a kind of smug amusement. We. My mind short-circuited. Who was we? The rattling stopped instantly. The silence that followed was somehow heavier, more menacing than the sound had been. I stood there, trembling in the dark hallway, my sense of reality completely shattered. My safe little house no longer felt safe. It felt violated, occupied by something that didn't play by the rules of the physical world. I backed away slowly, my eyes locked on the door, expecting it to fly open at any second. I didn't dare turn my back. I retreated step by agonizing step back towards my bedroom, my brain just repeating the words over and over. You removed it. We didn't. I fumbled my way back into my bedroom and quietly locked the door, my hands shaking so badly it took 3 tries. I know, a flimsy bedroom door lock isn't much against a determined intruder, but against whatever that was, it was all I had. I grabbed my phone from the nightstand, my thumb hovering over the 911 button. But what would I say? Hello, police. I'm hearing a ghost chain on my non-existent door chain. They'd think I was crazy, or worse, drunk. I slid down against the wall, pulling my knees to my chest, my eyes glued to my own bedroom door. The house was silent again. Minutes stretched into what felt like hours. I started to wonder if it was over, if my mind had just played a cruel trick on me. I was on the verge of convincing myself it was a hypnagogic hallucination, a waking dream. That's when I heard it, the rattle. But this time it wasn't at the front door, it was right outside my bedroom. The metallic shaking started again, slow and deliberate, right at eye level, just on the other side of my bedroom door. The same impossible sound, in a new location. It was inside the house with me. The whisper followed, no longer faint, but clear and right there, as if someone was pressing their lips against the wood. Did you think that would stop us? The sound wasn't just in the air, it felt like it was inside my head. The rattling moved, tracing the frame of my bedroom door, up one side, across the top, down the other. A cold, methodical exploration. It was mapping its territory. My territory. I couldn't scream. My throat had closed up. All I could do was sit there, a prisoner in my own room, listening to the sound of something from a nightmare taunting me from just inches away. There was nowhere left to run. I stayed huddled on the floor until the sun came up, listening as the rattling eventually faded with the first hints of dawn. I didn't sleep a wink. The moment daylight streamed through my window, I grabbed my keys and ran out of the house. I didn't even stop to get dressed properly. I just drove. I ended up at a 24-hour diner, sitting in a booth, shaking and staring into a cup of coffee I couldn't drink. I've been staying with a friend ever since. I can't go back. I called a security company, and they found nothing. No signs of forced entry, no scratches on the doors, nothing. They think I'm paranoid. My friend thinks I'm overworked and stressed. But I know what I heard. I know what that voice said. We didn't remove it. It implies the chain is still there, just not in a way we can see. And if they can make me hear it, what else can they do? My house is still sitting there, empty. Sometimes I drive by, but I can't bring myself to stop. I just look at the front door and wonder if they're still in there, waiting, rattling a chain that was never there. I don't know what to do. Moving seems like the only option. But what if they follow? What if it's not the house they're tied to, but me? The thought is terrifying. This experience has completely upended my life. I've been researching local folklore, historical records of my property, anything that might offer a clue, but I've found nothing. I've even considered reaching out to paranormal investigators, something I would have laughed at a month ago, but now I'm desperate for answers. Has anyone else experienced anything like this? Hearing something that shouldn't be there, something that defies all logic, a sound that carries a message meant only for you. It's a lonely kind of fear, the kind that makes you question your own sanity. I feel like I'm standing on the edge of a world I never knew existed, and something has reached out and tried to pull me in. I'm sharing this because I have to. I can't keep it inside anymore. Maybe someone out there has an answer. Maybe I'm not alone in this, or maybe I'm just warning you. Be careful what you remove from an old house. You never know who might want to put it back. Thank you for listening to my story. If you have any thoughts, please share them in the comments below. Stay safe out there.